What's good? What's good? What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to another amazing episode of the POPcast right here on the YouTube street. It's your boy Moochie for one, baby. Please say the baby. And I ain't rolling one, man. I'm with my co-pilot as per usual. Well, it's Miss Cosmo.
What up, though? What up, Moochie for one, baby? Yes, my name is Miss Cosmo here on the POPcast as I am every single week.
Yes,
and hanging with my main man, Moochie. And yeah, man, we've got a hot episode lined up for you guys today.
Yes, sir.
We haven't had a POPcast in a while. We've just been giving you the pop radios. But it's good to kind of be in the seat, just to kind of have a little bit of a chat, have a roundup as to what is happening on the streets of pop culture, music, and the things. Yeah, man, but it's been a good week. Summer's here.
Summer
Sipo.
is definitely here, and you can tell by everybody's happy to be outside. Like the window open. This is my type of season, and of course, it's festival season coming up. Everything is happening out on the streets. People are happy to definitely be celebrating. I feel like didn't feel like it was a long winter, but as per usual, it was, I think, load shedding and everything compounding made it feel like, we've been inside for too long. So I think it's very welcome.
Yes.
And it's summer, guys. I'm not spring.
Yes, there's no spring. It's just straight to summertime for the South Africans.
We don't have time.
Yeah, but I'm happy that we actually had a short winter because last year's one, it don't say, don't say. So I'm glad that we are back into the warm weather and we're in a good vibe, we're in a good feeling. And yes, you are right about festival season. I mean, a lot of festivals are starting to pop up everywhere around the country. I mean, Shims and Friends happened this past week as well in
Absolutely.
Durban. Apparently the turnout was amazing. The show was great. So big shout outs to Afrotech and what they're doing for the music side as well, and also kind of taking it around the country. So I think that was really awesome.
Dope vibe it looked like. I just saw the images online, and I saw people really complimenting Shims Aguti. He's just a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
When it comes to throwing these festivals outdoors, he's a master of it. Considering he's been doing it for so long. So it's good to see him still pulling out those numbers. Considering, and he just came back from like a Euro tour.
Yeah.
It's just like been gone for like 2 or 3 months, back in the country to like rock.
Yeah.
He left for winter. He get himself another summer that side.
Yeah.
Comes back for summer. It's nice having money. Getting broke. You never have to experience winter. Let me go to Europe, enjoy, come back right in time.
Exactly. But I think we should all aspire to that.
Absolutely.
Euro summer, South summer. You know what I mean? Of course, President Wastrata is also going to be rocking this weekend. Vocalistic's going to be having his State of the Nation address out in Pretoria Botanical Gardens. So that's happening this weekend. So go out there and check it out. So, support the homie Pitori Stand Up. It's going to be a whole long list of artists who are going to be out there as well. So I think it's going to be dope, especially for anybody who goes out there.
Definitely going to be dope. And like all these, especially these September, October festivals are definitely opening the summer up. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we carry that momentum into the rest of the silly season, as we say. So Foka definitely is going to be out there. Burner as well next week.
Yeah, Burner next week.
There's a lot of chatter. Delicious Fest. There's a lot of chatter about Burner's concert over the weekend, of whether it's selling, and people are like, there's been no lot dope marketing around it and all that. South Africans start to question if things are going right there, because people are saying they're literally giving away tickets.
Yeah.
But then I saw another post that said apparently they'd sold over 50,000 tickets. So I was like,
But haters be haters on the Twitter streets. Because I also saw somebody complaining on Instagram, funny enough, it wasn't even on Twitter, about how they were worried about MT's show, because MT just did MT and Friends this past weekend at Zone 6, and they're like, ticket sales are slow, what's happening? And then you check the footage, everybody came out to support the brother. So it was a jam-packed show, everybody came through. So sometimes you can't really rely on what people's perceptions are on social media. Just arrive on the day when I'm
absolutely. I don't want to be alone at a show, but absolutely. That's my worst fear. Going to go watch somebody and be like, are there going to be people that, I definitely don't want to be squashed up, trying to get to the front if it's an artist that I'm really looking forward to seeing. But definitely, if you like the artist, support the artist. Yeah. It seems like people who are enjoying people like MT, what do you call this? Delicious Fest, all these things that consistently sell out regardless of whether you or yourself are in the know or not. It's whatever. And of course, we have Trevor Noah on the circuit as well, doing his first tour in Mzansi in about, I don't know what it is, 5 years or so. Yeah. Started in Cape Town. I heard it's been going well. He's got a lot of great openers with him. About Dylan Oliphant, who's this guy? Robbie Collins and them. So it's got a lot of the local guys are fueling the opening set. So I think it's a whole production versus just Trevor Noah. So it's you're getting a little money for your buck. If you've managed to get tickets, lucky enough, then good for you. But I think there's probably just one more show that has a few tickets left, which is Joburg or Pretoria. So go check it out as well. So if you're into comedy, there's that happening too.
There's a lot happening on the streets. We outside, okay?
Absolutely.
I think that is, the consensus about today is that we're definitely outside and we're going to be having a good time. And of course, I mean, Brenna's definitely going to sell out. I mean, he's Africa's greatest. He's Africa's giant. Come on. Yes. All right. So this week there was a lot of celebrations also coming through as well from the DSTV Content Creator Awards, and there are a lot of winners that came out as well for that event. So a big shout outs to all the winners if they had submitted for the awards as well as obviously won. And I think they had gone a little bit bigger and better this year compared to last year. And big ups to the awards as well for constantly pushing. I think it's dope that 1 year they started off on a good foot and then they tried to tighten up a little bit of the loose ends that some of us felt that they had, and this year seemed a little bit better. Did you attend? I didn't go
this year, unfortunately, but of course last year we were nominated and we went, and the event was dope, and like we came back and we gave you guys the honest feedback. As you just said, there seems to have been a lot of more improvements. The hype and marketing around it this year, I was very visible over the last several months. You could see people trying to get their people to vote for them, where they could vote and whatnot. So it seems like it was a well put together event. I saw the images from it all look crisp and beautiful. People look like they put in a lot of effort, which is always dope. And a lot of, like, I could say the heavy hitters on content seem to have, you know what I'm saying? People who are nominated. That also makes, I guess, it brings the stature to it. Donovan was hosting.
And he also won an award.
Yes, he won the Thumb Stopping Award, and I think he might have won the same award last year as well.
I can't remember,
but I know he won. I think he may have. But yeah, he won that award, and people like Umihlali got, for the first time, they introduced the OG award, which is giving somebody who's been in the content game for quite some time, and she was the first recipient of that. So yeah, shout out to them, man. Everybody else looked like they showed up prim and proper. A lot of the presenters out there. So Musli was presenting, Farida was presenting. So yeah, like I said, a lot of people who in the industry who are at the forefront of creating content seem to have really showed up at the event.
Lasizwe was dancing. He was showing us his bums.
Don't worry. So the goose was loose. Lasizwe, what's going on, pimping?
What's happening? But Lasizwe totally PVL. Is that what the secret is, Lasizwe? Is that what's actually happening, my brother?
Something. Lasizwe
looked hot though. I won't lie. Shout outs to you and shout outs. I always appreciate his bravery. Lasizwe always does the things that we all just like, but he pulls it off and everybody accepts it because it's him, and that's his thing, and that's why he can be on big stages like that. So big shout outs to Lasizwe. He was also dancing with Buntle and the team. Might need to work on the dance moves a little bit, but we appreciate the effort and we appreciate the love that you had shown to the awards. Obviously also Fashion and Style, Kifilu Mabote won that award, which I thought was dope, especially because fashion is such a big content driver, especially in South Africa. So it's good to see that. Travel and Lifestyle, Wonder with Iana, also really awesome, because I think that's also just a big emerging market in content, especially in South Africa. And one that wasn't there last year but was now this year, Song of the Year, which wasn't necessarily a category, but going out to AKA and Nasty C for Lemon's Lemonade. So it was quite interesting to kind of see how,
Absolutely, and I think that's going to happen as they have as they grow rather. They'll chop and change, add new categories, try to accommodate. And I think what they didn't have last year was the travel one. That was talked about a lot, I remember. So this year they introduced it. I think one thing we're going to have to get used to as well is that at any time these awards come by, because first of all, you submit for I think almost every award you have to submit. And then second of all, you may get introduced to people that may not have been part of your TL. You know what I'm saying? The algorithm of how this thing works online is very, very tricky. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely used to the people that we see every single day, and those become the people that we're used to, and we think they're the only people that exist. So, and I was learning about new people. Like I saw the lady who won travel, whatever. I was like, oh, who's this lady? You know what I'm saying? This white lady. I didn't know her. But I click on her profile, and she's busy there. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I realized as I was looking through some of her profile that I'd liked some of her pictures. Her travel content, because I found them on the Explore page. So I was like, oh, I want to go here, I want to go there. Like, saved her content. So I'm like, oh, you came up as an explore page. I didn't even realize that you were South African at the time or whatnot, or who you were, over 100,000 followers. But I'm like, things like this happen because, like I said, we're used to our own timeline, especially black people.
Yeah.
So getting introduced to white content creators, it feels like, who's this guy? Yeah. I know people always ask, and it's fine to ask, but then introduce yourself to new markets as well. And realize, you're seeing the same thing because you're clicking on the same thing every day. Yes. Sometimes you must just go into that explore page and click on that other thing and see what's going on the other side, because the internet is vast. It's not just what your people that you follow and that you like all the time that may be the most popular. I'm not saying they're not deserving, but I'm just saying open your eyes a little wider so you can see that there are a million podcasts, there's a million travel content creators, a million people doing this and that. So open your eyes to everything else, because the awards are going to have to do that. Exactly. So over time you're going to be like, who's this guy? Exactly. Who's this girl? Who's this person? Who are these people? And then that's going to answer the question if you just go out there and just take the time to research. Exactly.
Somebody who's been hitting my radar though from a content and travel perspective is Poppy. She's been trending for some of the right reasons and some of the wrong reasons, but I'm quite excited to kind of see how she's going to take herself. You know, she said she's going to go throughout the African continent. I like people who think outside the box, and I like people who like to be obnoxious. So I dig the fact that she's just like, yo, you know, I'm me, and this is how I'm going to take myself around the continent. So shout outs to her. She's one person that I think people need to follow.
Definitely. She's more known for her art and whatnot.
No, not Poppy.
Sorry. I mean, I'm thinking about the other nominated Poppy. Yeah. The Poppy from talking about the radio presenter.
No. There's this other girl.
The girl who does the Ugandan content from Burundi. Sorry.
Yes. There's this girl who does this off the cuff type of content.
My mind is going for. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes. I saw her in the bus.
Yes.
She's like in Burundi. Yes. That Poppy. Yes. I think Poppy is my name is her handle.
No, Poppy is my name is the one from 5FM.
That's 5FM, okay.
I need to find her name, but I will find her.
I saw a video of this lady, and she posted it on TikTok. Yes. And she was trending online. So I was wondering who's this Poppy everyone was talking about.
Yes.
And that's why at first I was confused about who it was, because I'm thinking about Poppy was trending for something else this past weekend.
Oh man, favorite.
Her video when she's in that bus in Burundi.
POPcB, yeah, that's her name. Please follow her. She's got some of the most original, organic content. It's not curated. She's just like, yo, I'm out here. I'm surviving. Whether we make it or not, let's go.
Literally.
And I like people like that. So hopefully she can get nominated for the awards next year, and we can see, you know, her being appreciated for her candidness.
You know, I respect that, because remember when you're creating content, we all like to, everybody likes the soft life. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I like to travel and be nice. Everybody also travel, and like you see one way of traveling. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to one day be traveling first class all the time. Yes. I want to go to the Maldives and 5-star. Like the aspirations are always high for all of us, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to live a certain type of life. But the reality is that most of the time, that's not how things get put together. Yeah. Regardless of who it is, or whoever it is that you follow, even your favorite content creators, you know, they're curating this very nice image for you guys. But when people tell you how they put it together and they say, hey, I took money from here and I put it there, I booked this type of flights to make sure that I can enjoy myself, you know what I mean? Then you hear the real work, then you feel it's more relatable. Then you're like, oh, this person is kind of pulling it together the way I would put it together. Yeah. They're not just like drowning in money that they're using to travel around the world. And I will say that there's a big market for people who do it, not just like Poppy, but like for a market where everybody, like you're trying to get the average South African
to travel.
That travel is possible, and to do those small things. And not everything has to look like, you know what I'm saying, it was made for glam and whatever, because the reality is that most of your audience will actually relate to that content and be like, oh, so I can travel for 1,000 rand and go here. That sounds like something I could do. You know what I'm saying? Not how do I put together money to go watch an NBA game or some shit like that. It's like, how do I move from point A to point B? What's going on in Limpopo? What's going on around? So I'm saying something like this, where someone is showing you literally suffering. And that's why that bus trip in Burundi, I'm like, this girl is going through it.
And she said she wants to go throughout the entire continent. She's going to figure out how she does it. And I love her zest. I love her bravery, because you must be brave to do something like this. But it's very authentic, and I think that's what's really dope about her content. So go and check her out. Talking about nominations and awards, we've also got the BET Hip Hop Awards. Yes, and KO as well as AKA both nominated for the Best Flow category, because, you know, typically they'll always kind of, you know, do different things, and they'll nominate people for like best newcomer, best international act, best hip hop flow. I think is something that hasn't been on our radar before.
Yeah.
So big shout outs to KO as well as AKA for that one. I mean, KO is obviously his flow. I feel like just gets better and better with each year. It's like he matures with it. So it's dope to kind of see him, you know, getting this recognition.
Absolutely, man. Dope nomination there, I think. For both AKA and KO, and a very interesting one as well. I think it creates a great debate about who is actually paying attention to these things. When we're speaking about flows, then you start pulling out the songs and say, listen, you have to actually understand the artist and all that. So I think for the artists themselves, it's probably a very meaningful thing to be your cadence and your flow. It's being actually picked out as something that's a standout and one of the best in the game. So yeah, I think they're going up against. I only know one other nominated guy, which is Central C from the UK.
Yeah,
I don't know the other rappers. I think there's a few guys from Africa as well. Africa.
From
the motherland.
You're in Africa, bro. Just in
guys
case
from the
you
motherland
forgot.
might be involved in this as well. But yeah, shout out. And yeah, it is a sort of voted for category, or not publicly anyway.
Yeah.
So you guys will find out when you find out who was what. But shout out to either one, KO or a Nasty C. I hope one of them takes it.
AKA.
I mean, AKA, sorry.
Yes. Somebody who's also making history. And we have to note that this is history because not everybody gets to work with an icon or worked on a project by an icon like Bob Marley. Bob Marley's album was reprised by his family and, you know, re-energized, I think, for digital platforms. And they included Faku. She is on the remake for Redemption song, which is also a global hit.
Yeah.
And I say global in the very essence of that. Like, if you don't know the song, then what rock are you hiding under type of song, you know? And the fact that Faku was graced with the opportunity to actually be on the remake of the song, I think, is amazing. And she sounds so sweet and so pure on the song as well. So a big shout out to her team for pulling that off.
Shout out, man. Like you just said, Redemption song, one of the most famous, one of the greatest songs of all time, some would say. You know what I mean? So to be put on a track like that is definitely a big deal. And I can imagine the pressure of saying, you know, I got to come here, I got to represent myself. And she's throwing in some vernac in there as well.
Yeah.
So you can see they're trying to make it for the diaspora as well to jump in. Even though the song, like I said, doesn't need any marketing itself. It's just one of those, one of those legacy things that you do. So great for her and her team, man, to be featured on there. You can definitely rest assured that it will be played everywhere. I
think she can retire now. Like, she can just live off of the royalties from the song.
I promise you. That's a healthy
she's
check.
nice now. Yeah, like, she's nice. She can just buy a house at Salindlini, Abbey Rights, you know?
Yeah, what did Busiso tell us about that, the movie money that she was like, I realized, shit, my son, don't worry. We're gonna be just fine.
We're gonna be fine. That Wakanda money?
You know what I'm saying?
That Beyonce money? Come on.
If you strike the right deals, you end up in things like this. This is very, very dope for Faku and for South Africa at large, I guess. I don't know if there's going to be any more featured, and maybe not South African, but maybe other African artists. It'll be interesting to see where...
Yeah, there are other African artists who are featured on the album because, like I said, it's a reprise of the entire album. I just obviously don't have the big list because what we paid attention to was Faku.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other African artists as well who are also featured in little pockets of some of his other songs as well. So Bob Marley album, you know, I mean, that's big.
It's big, man. One of the biggest artists of all time. So definitely, it really literally doesn't get much bigger than this.
Yes.
So shout out Faku and the team.
Yes, and the ladies keep knocking it out the park. Koala recently posted about how she's just been booked and busy and moving ever since her her only album that she dropped in 2019. She's gotten a couple of singles since then, but she's had over 1 million Spotify streams in the past 12 months, over 1 million all-time streams on Apple Music in the past 12 months. And for an independent artist, that's huge because it means you are doing something right with connecting with your artists, with your fans rather, but also connecting with just the music, and everybody's still paying attention to you because when you don't have a big team to help you market and to get to places, you are doing something by saying the right things, and your fans are saying, yo, I want to keep going back to Koala's music and just paying attention. And she's been talking about the brand sponsorships that she's had. Even when I had her on pop radio, that's what she kind of talks about, is that's the big part of her brand, is making sure that she gets the right sponsorships, she works with the right people. So big ups to the ladies, man. I think they're doing big things.
Big ups, D Koala. She's a fave, no doubt. And I'm glad that she's doing this because I think, not just because hip hop may not be the hottest sound in the streets right now, but letting people know exactly who you are, just in case they don't know. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people don't know. A lot of people that are seeing her online, that are being introduced to her outside of her fan base, are just seeing her because she's also a fun person online.
Yeah.
And likes to post like TikToks. So people may only know her for that don't know her music. Yeah. So I think setting the record straight and just be like, okay, so for those who don't know, yeah, Chapo, that side of me that I'm showing you, no problem. But in case you're wondering what kind of artist I am or how I'm moving, or if you think I'm playing around with this thing, here are just the black and white facts as they are. Let you know that I'm really about this thing. I think like more and more her fan base is actually growing outside of Cape Town, more into Joburg and spreading around the country for people to literally give her that recognition.
Yeah, and I think that the TikTok has definitely played a part in that as well.
Absolutely, it has.
Like, you know, because she was saying that, you know, she's got her personality side is what is showing on TikTok, and then her work and her efforts is always what she shows on Instagram. And it's nice to kind of marry the two to then say, oh, she's actually quite a fun person, because you might follow her on TikTok because of her jokes, but then there's also this other side. And I think that also contributed to the 1 million streams that she had over the years. So big shout outs.
Yeah, no, I've seen leading with your personality or whatnot, letting you, if that's how people get introduced to you, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Especially because the internet is there for you to use and market yourself however that you can. So she's used it in one way, and now people are getting introduced to the full picture of the artist. So shout out to her, man. I'm glad that she let the motherfuckers know.
Yeah, gotta say, hey, hip hop, you better recognize. Hip hop's also kind of recognizing, you know, the African Throne Tour is, you know, taking its steps into the different countries. This past weekend, they were out in Zambia, Nasty C and Casper Nyovest. There's a video of Nasty trending of himself defending himself on stage. There's a fan who jumps on and then he pushes him, and I think he punches him, and then he gets handled by security and then he's taken off. Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen the video of this happening, but I've seen people talk about it.
Yes. So basically, Nesty's just doing his job. He's on stage. Umnandi, just nyana, you know. And then I don't know how this fan gets away from security, but it's barricaded. How did he get away from everybody with his glass, mind you?
Is this in Zambia or Botswana?
In Zambia.
In Zambia. My people.
Jumps on, jumps on stage, and then obviously tries to hug him, and then Nesty's like, yo! And then he pushes him. And then I don't know what the conversation is on stage. He's just like, and then Nasty then goes in and he punches him.
How does the Nasty punch look?
No, well, it was the guy fell to the floor.
Is it Nasty can throw a punch?
He threw a punch. And now the debate on social media is, Nasty shouldn't have thrown a punch. Hey, he needs to respect his fans. What. I'm like, guys, number one, we are in Africa. Number two, after what happened to AKA, do you not think that he deserves to kind of defend himself? Also, where was security? That's the third
First
point.
of all, security is asleep at the wheel. I don't know what the hell's going on there. One guy can just like chup there. And regardless of what this person's intentions are, we can't wait to find out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, oh, no, he's a good guy. He's just a fan. He's just a whatever. We can't wait to find out. And they lose their mind sometimes when they see people jumping on artists and holding them and like doing all types of crazy shit. Like, it's very, very risky to actually involve yourself in those situations as a fan, because he could pull you and people literally go crazy. You don't know if it's a super fan who's just like, I'm never going to let go of Nasty C.
Exactly.
It's like, my guy, there's a whole, what do you call this? Venue filled of people that have come to see us. We can't stop because of you. You know what I mean? So security is definitely supposed to handle that. Nasty himself throwing the punch is I'm watching it in real time now. I hate that this happened in Zambia with my people. But like I say, I don't know what people actually expect security to do. Even in football, for example, or in any sports situation, when a person jumps on stage.
Himself.
Absolutely.
He must defend himself. And I also don't understand, because at the end of the day, things are barricaded for a reason.
Absolutely.
Why are you trying to jump on stage? Let's actually start there. Because now everybody is saying Nasty is the problem. You as a fan, why are you jumping on stage? What are you hoping to get that you can't wait until the end of the show to bump into him at another place and then say, oh, I'm your biggest fan, let's take a picture? Why are you jumping on stage? You know that you're not supposed to pass there. And now all of a sudden, you are the person who's the victim. No, you're not the victim. Because he must obviously fear for his life.
Absolutely. He came storming at me while I'm performing. And you can see his face immediately. He's like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like, oh, come through. He was like, yeah. What's this guy coming? What kind of, I don't know what his vibe is. The nigga looks crazy coming up the stage. You know what I'm saying? You don't look like a friendly ass nigga when you bypass security to come.
Also, I think a lot of people are shocked because they didn't know Nasty had it in him. I didn't think he had it in him either. So a
fight or flight. My man made a choice. You know what I'm saying?
And he said, yo, my Zuluness is coming out right now. Zulu man with some power. Okay? And he said, in the same time, and the guy fell to the floor. It's unfortunate for the fan, but he shouldn't have been on stage in the first
Shouldn't
place.
have been on stage, man. Shouldn't have been. You're gonna get fucked up.
Exactly.
Like, let's just keep it 100. You approach somebody like that, somebody's gonna get knocked the fuck out, and they're gonna tell you the stories later. But you're going to get smacked.
Please,
I promise you. Run like that towards Drake if you see him in the mall, or Floyd Mayweather was here with those guys. Please try that. You're going to get knocked the fuck out. Exactly. And then they'll ask questions later. Oh, you're a fan. Don't do that, my guy.
Exactly.
But at that time, you'll be on the floor. They'll be helping you up. You need water. Like, things will be happening to you. Maybe you're getting arrested as well. But they'll say, you're a fan. Don't do that, my guy.
Exactly.
Because we can't afford to. Imagine if they could just afford to let the people touch him.
Imagine.
Then what's the point of security? Because it means even the enemies can pull up. You know what I'm saying? So what's the point? How must we tell who the fans are and who aren't the fans? Everybody must get dropped first, and then we talk later. So otherwise, stay in your lane and absolutely stay the fuck off the stage.
Exactly.
Hey,
and keep your drinks to yourself also. Don't be throwing drinks. Don't be doing funny things. You will get beat up. But sticking to Nasty C, it's also nice to kind of see his music is back on streaming platforms. Apparently, Juiceback hasn't been on streaming platforms for some time. I think it's been over a decade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
If you had tried to search for it on
How old is Nasty C?
Kind
of came to almost 16, eh?
Yeah, I think when he came into the scene, he dropped Juiceback when he was 17. 17 when and now he must be, I think he's 26 if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So yeah, man. So
how old does that make us? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
No. Anyway, so Nasty C. So
if I minus 10 years from my current age, I'm still in my 20s.
Your ment is it's a little, we're not too sure about that one, Sipo. But yeah, so obviously this has been a little bit of a trend that's also been happening with a lot of other artists as well. I mean, Revolution recently just bought the masters of their music as well and reloaded it onto streaming platforms. And it seems as though this is also something that it's a little bit of a trend that happens in South Africa where some older music you can't necessarily find on streaming platforms, maybe because obviously back then we were still dealing with physical, so you didn't necessarily find it on Apple Music or on Spotify. But I think maybe from a legacy perspective, does it make sense for you to upload that older stuff, or should you just keep it pushing with the new stuff?
Now, I think definitely upload the older stuff, because where is it sitting where it's not generating anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the streams become. It's better, I think it should be, especially for guys like More Revolution, even house music, that stuff is forever. You know what I'm saying? It's music that I feel like is timeless. So I'm pretty sure I can go listen to Revolution's first album right now and be like, hey, I remember this. The nostalgia. So for all the older people who will remember Revolution from there, I feel like putting it on streaming is definitely something everybody should be able to do. Your music should be available to your fans at all times, and must continue to generate money for you and your estate past your life forever. Because you never know, especially in this age that we live in, where music, the internet, at any given time your song starts popping again on TikTok, for example. TikTok has gone viral with music from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Old hits where people are like, oh, this used to be a hit. It's like, yeah, you niggas don't even understand what you're bumping right now. And then it creates a new trend. And for that artist, that leads to streams, just like when someone performs at the Super Bowl or whatnot. So you never know when your popularity might spike. When that moment is ready, your music must always be available at any given time for your fan base.
100%. Also, because we're in a stage now where, I mean, technology is key. Nobody's burning CDs anymore. Nobody is going to CD warehouse. Nobody's going to Musica. Nobody's trying to buy physicals. Also, in your cars, they're not creating CD players anymore. You know what I mean? It's Bluetooth one way. So, and if it's not the Bluetooth, obviously it's the aux. If that's your selection. But moving with the times is that it's going to be difficult for you to even listen to your music if you still keep it in physical copy. So it only makes sense for older music to be loaded onto streaming platforms, like you're saying, for legacy, but also just for access, because I want to hear older songs. I just don't have it anymore. I mean, I used to have a stack of CDs that I used to keep, and I lost all of those CDs. I don't even know where exactly they are.
I don't even know when it happened.
And I'm so heartbroken because I want to listen to that music. So at least we've got streaming platforms for me to kind of access them that way. You know what I mean?
I don't know what happened to everybody's CDs. Everybody had a gang CDs, and one day they were just all gone. I don't know at which point in my life somebody took that, where I left it, maybe at home, and got packed away somewhere.
You neglected
literally,
them.
at some point you realize I actually don't even have a CD player, so I don't know what to do with this thing. Then you leave it somewhere, and then literally your mind doesn't care
and
anymore.
Then there goes your money in the dust.
And I used to have proper CD collections. I used to bend them myself. Piracy Mavanas was at the top. Half of it is real things. The other half is mixtapes.
Yes, and the worst is when you can hear like it's been downloaded from a. It's like, are you sure that you downloaded this from the right side? But you know what it is, man. All we are is just music lovers, and we're just trying to make sure that we can have a place where we can listen to it correctly. All right, so we've also just got, people have been thinking twice about what's actually been happening with Costa Titch's Instagram account. Yeah. So I'm not too sure if you've noticed, but recently there's been a lot of like activity around his page. He's been, not him, but his family and his team has been posting on his page. And I think people are in two minds about legacy accounts, whether you should continue posting or whether you should leave it alone. Even with AKA, you'll still see his things kind of popping up on your timeline, and you're just like, I don't know how to feel about it, because on the other breath, you've got, like, for instance, Ricky's account that hasn't been touched since his last post.
Yeah.
And then you've got AKA and Costa that are constantly giving us content, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I think it's definitely tricky because these are artists that had like new music that was hot on the streets right now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there was a marketing element around it to keep. I mean, like AKA passed away as his album was dropping. You know what I'm saying? Like his funeral was literally a week before his album came out, type situation. So I think it's tricky because there is the very real business side of it where this money is going to go to various family members or whoever's been left over for what, you know what I'm saying? For lack of a better word, for the last time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those immediate thing that needed promotion. And so I feel like part of it is just that, Nasty, Costa Titch has just dropped, his remixes with Akon that was doing well and millions of views. So all those things on the business end for the entire team that's been left behind, you know what I'm saying, mean something to make sure that people continue. I think over time they may quiet a little bit.
Yeah.
Naturally, I would imagine maybe turn into legacy accounts like Michael Jackson's account and whatnot.
Yeah.
If there's a foundation to promote. Like I know the Ricky's one, maybe he himself didn't leave any passwords, but since just started like a legacy account to deal with his foundation and whatnot.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they become over time and not so much tweeting. Because I feel like over time, if they just keep reposting just like, oh, here's a performance or here's a what, here's a throwback or whatnot on just like a random weekly basis, then that's over time becomes like, okay, nah. But if you do it on a legacy thing, like a birthday shout out, an anniversary of an album, like things like that, just to remind the fans, then it could be handled in a sensitive way. Right now, but I just feel like right now what was most important perhaps was just not just keeping the memory alive, but like, yo, this person actually just has new music out. Please God, they enjoyed. Here's this new, this letting us know the songs have gone platinum and whatnot in real time. It's just, I feel like that was the immediate use of it. But over time, I think we'll see them quiet down and just turn more into in memoriam of.
Yeah, I think it's important for also whoever's managing the account just to say, yo, we are now, or at least let people know who is managing the account, because right now I think the concern, especially with Costa's account, is that we're not really sure who's posting, what they are posting for. Because the other day, I think it was literally like 3-4 days ago, I saw a new picture of him and it was just a normal caption as if he was posting it, and I was like,
yeah, no, it's...
You know what I mean? And I'm not against the memorial posting and let's try and keep his legacy alive. I'm all for that. I just think let's do it in a way where the fans are not triggered, because I think the triggering, especially because it's still so soon, is what we're trying to kind of, alleviate. But hey, man, everybody kind of goes about things different ways. Like I mentioned, Ricky's account hasn't been touched, but the foundation account is what is moving now. And that's what we need to kind of show our support for. But I don't know. I think it's different for different artists, but yeah, I think just sensitivity, just a little bit. I mean, even at 947, they did Joburg Day, where they had the mega band performing, and you know, where they do the typical thing where they'll perform his songs and everybody came out to kind of perform, which I thought was really awesome, to get all the features to come through on stage as well. But it's just, I think it's mind-blowing to also just kind of hear like the snippets of his voice, and you're expecting him to jump out,
of course,
and it just never happens. And I saw a picture of just a microphone and the South African flag, and I was like, yo, this is crazy, because it literally gives you goosebumps, because you're just expecting him to show up and he just doesn't, and it's crazy.
It is, man. It's very heartbreaking, and I feel like it's just been a wave of emotions. Yeah, everybody's trying to deal with it best they can because it's so fresh. But I feel like, I think if this is what the team and the family needs to do, and then their mourning process, then I feel like they need to do it. But over time, I feel like it will just change. You know what I mean? How they approach that entire situation will change. But for now, I guess it just is what it is. Yeah. And maybe just allow people that space. Not throw too much judgment at them. You know what I'm saying? We may have opinions, but maybe ease up on the judgment part.
On the hate,
particularly. Hitting on little kids, you guys sometimes.
Yo, just leave the people alone. They are dealing with things the way they need to deal with things. All right, so we're going to get into some brand new music for this week. Hey, hip hop, you guys said we are releasing, huh? You said, okay, don't worry, summertime, we've got you. All right, so we've got a couple of songs coming through. Nasty C featuring Benny the Butcher with Prosper and Peace. Casper Nyoves, Maglera, Dope Boy 018. D Koala, Youngster CPT with Culture. We've got Nadia Nakai with Back In, and Focalistic and Mahuz with When Am I Dali. Yeah, man.
I guess we'll start with the Foca and Mahu and Chigo a lot.
Yes.
I think leading up to his concert, it's a good track to release. It's very has a summertime vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? Very festive, very fun track that you know they're gonna do a million dances for. They're gonna promote it on TikTok, so you already know the vibes are gonna come through. So I like the vibe of the track in general. I'm saying it didn't have I don't know, something about it didn't have a traditional, like, you stepped out a little bit to do something a little bit, sounds a little bit different, and I think it is that added summertime vibe to it. I don't know, there's a little bit of Limpopo sprinkled in there. A little bit. I'm hearing it. I'm not going to name the genres because there's a fast-pacedness to it that comes in there, which is like a very famous thing. People,
okay.
Limpopo has
like a Kavulungu type of vibe.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's a dope vibe, the jam. I feel like it's releasing at the right time. People are outside. People want to have fun. People want to hear tracks like that. And for him, leading up into his show, like I was saying, it feels like a great way to just continue fueling that one-man show of his. So yeah, generally I feel like it's a dope jam.
100%, man. We've also got I agree, Focalistic, Mahu on When Am I Dali. I also like how she sounds, and the way that she's also kind of approaching her brand. She's doing the right features, she's getting onto the right songs, and it's amazing how Foca also knew how to kind of use her properly on the song. She's also such a thug. Have you seen her perform when she holds her microphone upside down? I'm always just like, yo, shout out Mahu. I dig it, I won't lie, because typically you would expect vocalists to like do the traditional, like, let me hold it here so I can. She's just like, hey, my voice is gonna come out whether you like it or not. However I hold the mic, he's Opuma. So big ups to Mahu, man. She's really dope. Nadia Nakai back in the studio, and the song is called Back In, giving us a little bit of a trappy vibe. She's got like a Lil Uzi Vert kind of sample happening on the song, giving us just that fast-paced type of vibe, which I think is awesome. I am mad at her, and she knows I'm going to say that I'm mad at her for this, because I wanted her to go full throttle with Thick Slim, the song that she had with Anele Zondo.
Yes.
Didn't push it as much as I felt like she could have pushed it, because I think graphically and, visually they could have done so much more and taken it on tour. Yeah. But obviously timing is timing, man. It is what it is. So she was just like, you know what, maybe that song has kind of served its time. She's giving us a brand new song, and Back In is the tune, and I dig it.
Yeah, Back In is dope. I can already see the performances in the club. It's got a nice vibe to it. And she's just sounding confident. She's sounding happy to be outside. I'm glad she released a track like this. You know what I'm saying? I know it's been a tough year for her. So just to be outside, and she shouts out Super Mega at some point out there. So it sounds dope without having to sound like she has to I don't know, people were expecting that she might release a sad song or something like that, So I'm happy to hear this energy, this type of energy from her. And you're right about that track as well, because I remember when we talked about it months when it dropped, I was like, they must have fun with this track. The visuals are gonna be dope. It sounded really. And was it Annalise on those tracks? And she featured.
No, Nadia. It was a collaboration. It was a collaboration song. So it was Nadia and Annalise on the song. And I was hoping they were gonna do, visually, like for instance, like what Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion have. You know what I mean? So I was thinking colorful, graphics, just like being happy about being in the music and whatever and pushing it that way. But you know what, it's not up to us. It's up to her.
It's perfect time, summertime right now to have tracks like that. But otherwise, it's good to have Nadia back with some new music. So shout out to her.
Indeed. We spoke about Koala a little bit earlier with youngster CCA, and she's got a tune called Culture. It's also a little bit of a prelude to her festival for the culture, which is happening at the end of September. And I think it's just also kind of paying homage to Kylie Cha and bringing on somebody like a youngster CPT who's always talking about Cape Town, Kaapstad being the number one. So, they collab on this song is really dope because, they're kind of repping the hood, the both of them, and also just trying to just show love to what Cape Town has done for them.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Koala. I think this is a long time coming, this collaboration between her and the guy, Youngster CPT, who spits a dope verse as well. And she does too. And I'll say, Oguti, her also takes me a little while to jump into it. But I've always thought she was dope, even at the times where I couldn't fully understand what she was saying. I'm like, I know this girl is flowing very, very well and rapping very, very well. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Koala. I'm a fan personally. And I'm happy to see the link up with her and Youngster CPT, man. And go out and support for the culture. And like I said earlier on in the show, she set you guys straight, letting her know who she is. So if you don't know, I feel like straight from that post into the new music, and you can run it back to find out exactly what she's about. But I feel like it's a dope rap jam. Yeah,
man. And sticking to the boys from the same hood, trying to do the right thing. Casper in your vest, Maglora dope boy with a 0180 coming through with a hot new song. And I think from a performance perspective, they're enjoying it. They're enjoying being together and just like vibing with the song, and kind of taking it to the top the way that they are. So big ups to Casper, Maglora dope boy. I saw Maglera performing it out at Zone 6 as well. And even just him coming out on stage and, performing it, it's like, Magazana. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And, the crowd kind of blew up on it as well. So big ups to Maglera also giving it the energy,
Absolutely, man. Shout out 018 first and foremost. You already know what it is. But Casper, like we always say when he releases these tracks where he leans into Vanek, is most comfortable. There, he sounds like something that he can do in his sleep. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like naturally himself. The way that he presents himself, these tracks like this bring out the best in him, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? But as per usual, he doesn't make miss a step when he's trying to release a party track, when he's trying to release that track that's going to get the crowd hyped up. So he knew exactly what he was doing, getting into this with the chorus and everything, getting 018, the whole Makasana chant, you know what I'm saying? That's something that he does very well, and I think he's done that very well here in this track. And perfect feature to put Maglera on, who's a new hot artist, also from the Northwest. So it just feels like he's bringing the Northwest together, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a dope Mufftown, Kleckdorp link up. You know what I'm saying? So definitely he's brought, I feel like, just a new, fresh vibe to himself by putting Maglera next to him. Maglera, I feel like, drops a dope verse in there. But yeah, in general, I feel like it's definitely Casper in his element. As we know him, and I'd expect that this track will probably be ringing out throughout the summer.
You know what would have been dope also, or maybe he can do it even for the remix if he does do a remix, is do like a 018 remix similar to like what Boiti did with her track also. But also have Boiti on the song to then say, okay, Northwest together, let's push. I would like to see like a Casper and a Boiti collab. I don't know if it would happen because people are people, but
I think it's a great thing to do, and more importantly for the new age, because he already has Maglera on it. I feel like it's a great opportunity to, if they do a remix, to do a 018 remix with jazz people from the Northwest, but also young cats. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can always, how Motswako always borrows, Pretoria is technically part of the Northwest. And the opposite is also true when it comes to collabs and Motswako and all that. So maybe it could be a great Motswako's a remix that shouts out all the young cats, especially like Bomaglera, that are dope to hear, about 25K. as far as Mafikeng goes, there's people out there, young cats that are ready to jump on tracks like this, that he himself could now uplift and turn it into something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great moment, I feel like, to just like shout out your hood and then put them on as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad that you said that he needs to put on some of the young cats as well, because then that excludes you from possibly being on the. Because I know you're trying to revive your rap career.
I thought you were about to say something serious.
Trying to revive your rap career.
I don't need no cosign. I am the cosign. I don't need no cosign. One day you be coming to me for cosign and I'll remember your words.
You know, I'm going to be coming with my tail in between my legs. Be like, come on, Sipo, just jump on 5 minutes.
Ask me for a verse. Sing it for no, my sister. Let me send you an invoice fast.
Please. All right. And then we also have the last song from the Zulu Man with some power, Nasty C, featuring Benny the Butcher, Prosper in Peace. I think this is off of the new album that's going to be making its way to our show. So I'm excited about Nasty C's new album. I want to hear new music from him. I want to hear him in a new light. Yeah. Obviously, he's a dad now. So, you know, he's rapping from a different perspective. It's crazy, eh?
That's crazy. That's to see.
He's a father.
You know what I mean? Like, he's the father.
Like, he's a grown man now.
I feel like a grandfather. I don't know how, but just to see being a father makes me feel like a grandfather.
Yeah, no. I mean,
man, but it's a dope jam. I like the verse from Butcher. Butcher himself sounds a little bit different on here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somehow he's always a little bit more grunge. On here, he sounds a little bit more, I don't know, like he's like relaxed. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very nice, easy flow that he's giving out here. It doesn't sound like one of those where he's trying to be like boss, you know what I'm saying? Like, be very hard hitting, but it's a nice flow, a dope verse. I feel like he shared with Nasty over there. Nasty himself sounds dope on the jam. It's a nice track.
Yeah.
All in all, I feel like it's a really dope jam. I'd love to see visuals to it.
Yeah, and see how they kind of how they connect organically to with each other, especially with a song like this. But I think the beat also kind of lends to how relaxed and chilled they both are, and they both got like a specific message that they just want to kind of put out there. Yeah. And obviously them just saying, yo man, I'm just trying to prosper in peace, trying to be out here, trying to be a dad, trying to be good, trying to be peaceful, but knocking niggas out on stage as well. Don't try and test me, okay? Woo, Nasty C. But
that he just became a father, so he's moved into like his protective.
Yes, he's in protective mode now. He's security guy.
His family, but himself as well. You gotta stay in the game.
Yes, indeed, man. So big ups to all the music that's come out this past week, all the hip hop songs, as well as obviously the piano songs that are taking it to the top. I mean, Tyler's trend is also kind of, taking it everywhere with water, where everybody's just bouncing on with their bums on our screens. Shout out to Pearl Susie, we see you, girl. We told you already, you don't want the challenge, girl. We see you. But yeah, man, everybody's doing big things, and I like it because everybody's engaging. Social media is a buzz because of all the hot new music.
Yes, sir, man.
Yes, indeed. And we do have just, before we kind of wrap things up a little bit, we do have a little bit of a final announcement. Thank you for kind of joining us over the years, from everything that we've kind of, endured over the years, and the culture, and engaging with us and giving us, some of the props, obviously some of the feedback. Sometimes you like us, sometimes you don't like us, but we do really appreciate that. But yeah, man, Sipo,
Yeah, man. I think it's without further more to do, it has been an absolute joyride being on POPcast. But today is unfortunately my final episode with the team. Moving on to explore other ventures, as they say. You know what I'm saying? I feel like being on this platform has been really dope. It feels like you just blinked and like 2 years have passed.
Yeah.
And some change. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. DJ Dimples, who had introduced me to the entire team and asked me to be a part of this, and I had agreed, and it's been great ever since. Unfortunately, we lost him during the way, but the entire team was still together, and we kept it pushing for you guys over a year still. And I feel like it's been a dope time. I feel like this type of content and this putting it out here, dealing with people's careers and speaking about what's going on in the culture, is something that's a very dedicated thing for everybody here to do. You know what I'm saying? You guys already know how YouTube runs. We do this off of passion, out of the love for it, for the culture, for our viewers. So it's always respect on that front. And it has been a great year. But it just feels like the perfect time for me to move on to other type of content and perhaps open up the seat from somebody else in the future. You can stay tuned for news for that, or how this channel develops. But from my side, like I said, first of all, RIP DJ Dimples, who invited me to the team, to my co-host, Miss Cosmo, who's been nothing but amazing and professional, even when she calls me old every week.
We call each other old, please.
I don't know. I feel like I'm always nice. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I've aged too much. But it has been an absolute pleasure doing this with you every week, from the debates we've had with ourselves and all the guests, from POPcast all the way to Pop Radio. Sorry, it's always been dope. To the entire team, most of them are here. Dizzy, Q, BB, Bradley's outside. Nell's not here. Tando. Shout out everybody. But most importantly, shout out to you guys, all the viewers, all the feedback you've given us, all the times you've tuned in to view. All the times you fought me on Twitter from when I've said what Bacardi, I don't know what. Every time I've lost my mind online, you guys still come back, still rock with us, and it's all love at the end of the day. Just out here speaking life into the culture, speaking about it, what everybody's moves are, and at the most part, I feel like we've done a great job of just representing our own pop culture very, very well, and that legacy will continue. My time here is up, and all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my heart, for real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I want to say thank you for joining us at a time when we needed, just a little bit of a re-energizing onto the POPcast. And I also didn't realize it was 2 years. So shout outs to you. Shout outs for your energy. Shout outs for your input. Shout outs for your impact. Thank you so much for everything that you've contributed to the team, everything you've contributed to the show. And I am truly thankful, and I am truly appreciative of everything that you've done so far for the POPcast team. I think the boys can also kind of attest to that as well. And man, I think just for pop culture going forward as well, it's also just really awesome to kind of see how you've included yourself in this as a milestone that you've had in your career as well.
Absolutely.
And we're quite excited to kind of see where you're going to take yourself and what else you're going to be doing. Keep on supporting Moochie for one baby.
Baby.
Yes, indeed. And we'll be watching on the social screens, and just to kind of see where you at, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm not going too far.
Yes, as the last standing member, because I've been here losing all of my boys one by one, from Speedster to VG to Scoop to Dimples and now Sipo. This obviously just kind of opens up a new opportunity even for me, to kind of think about how I'm going to push through forward and see what else I can kind of venture into. So just keep a lookout onto our social media as to what announcements we're going to be making with regards to the show, how we're going to move forward, what we're deciding to do, how we're going to re-energize, and the new things, the new type of content that we will be producing. So we're not necessarily going anywhere. We're just going to, take a little bit of a hiatus, maybe a couple of weeks, just to kind of regroup, rebrand, and then figure out how we're going to move forward. So, so just keep on liking, subscribing, and, just following and commenting and letting us know exactly what you want to see from the new page. And man, we'll be back with something new, something fresh. Just keep on watching that dial. Thank you so much for all your support along the years. It's definitely been appreciated on my end. And man, I just want to say goodbye to Sipo. And thank you.
Keep well.
Yes.
To everybody in the team, but like I said, I'm not
well.
going far. We're still going to be out here supporting each other. So y'all keep it locked on the page.
Yes.
One last time. We nice.
We nice.